It's not what type of man do you want to be, it's who are you? You're everything right now, but where you place your focus will grow. People go, oh, I'm not very consistent. Oh, well, you're consistent in watching Netflix and eating something.
Yeah.
So consistency is there, it's just being practiced in the wrong areas. So how do we transfer it? Well,
our strengths and our abilities now highlight what we have chosen to invest time and energy in.
there's a lot of blokes out there that don't know themselves very well. They're just looking at other people and taking cues from them.
For the man watching, good question to ask yourself is this. Imagine you're going to have a couple of mates talking about you. Johnny's this, Johnny's that. What would you like those mates to be saying about you? What are some of the words you'd like them to be using and how they describe the man that you are? And that tells you what you care about. It tells you who you want to be. It's better to be rejected for who you are rather than liked for who you're not. Because we've all tried to put a bit of a mask on, and that feels more lonely and more isolating. But to have the courage to go, this is who I am. Because you know what's happening? It's every time you're being accepted for who you're not, that's denting your self-esteem.
You do you, mate. You get up at 4 o'clock.
Johnny's called it shit.
I'll see you in 4 hours. Right, we ready?
Hello guys, and welcome back to Men Behaving Honestly. I'm here with my great co-host, Johnny Lawrence. Johnny, how are you today, mate?
Mate, you always go for the short intro, don't you?
Don't muck about. Just keep it short and simple is
Scripted,
is what I do.
Storytelling, and you're like, this is where we are and this is who we are.
Because you know what? Men don't want to fuck about, Johnny. Let's not muck about the foreplay here. Let's go straight in. No lube. Straight into it, Johnny. Okay, we're not mucking about.
Wow.
People don't want us to fuck about.
Okay.
I'll give us your life story. You're like, no, I'm here to watch and let's just crack on. I'm James Shibey. He's Johnny Lawrence. This is what we're talking about. That's what they want, Johnny. Give them what they want. No one, people busy. They've got a lot going on. Why the fuck should they listen to us today?
Right. Yeah.
Why?
Why? Because
Why should a man commit the next 45 minutes of his time to listen to what we're going to talk about today?
we're going to fill in the gaps, hopefully.
Okay.
We're going to talk a little bit about what we're talking about today. What are we talking about?
How to become the man you really want to be.
Well, how to become the man you really want to be. Because this is what it's about, isn't it? Well, as we said in episode 1, we want to explore that grey area. And again, we're exploring it, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to do all the heavy lifting and you just get to sit and listen, really, and pick out what you need. You know, we do that through storytelling. Hopefully, we're not them two fellas that's like, oh, listen, we're perfect.
Yeah.
Let's get it all.
Definitely not perfect. I think people pick it up pretty quickly on this podcast that we're far from perfect.
This is the guy that spent 5 minutes before his intro doing that.
I wish that was true.
Yeah. Okay. Nah,
So, okay, mate. So where do you feel you're not perfect? Where do you think some of the things that you could be more authentic or more aligned with what you care about? Where is Johnny Lawrence not quite on track right now?
I think that's a good question, mate. I think that I'm still more judgmental than I'd like to be. And the reason that bothers me is because I know that them judgments aren't really about that person, it's about me. Here's an example, right? I got to talk at the Latitude Festival a couple of years ago. And part of the car, Caroline was with me, we made it into a nice weekend and all that. And we're walking from the car through to the wellbeing area at the Latitude Festival. And I had to walk through this like big gathering of hippies. And they were all dancing. And there was no music. They just had headphones on. They were all dancing and they were like closing their eyes and doing all of this.
Did you join in?
And they were just all everywhere. And I'm ashamed to say, I walked past and I said to myself in my head, what the fuck are they doing?
So you judged them. You judged
them. And then I thought that and I was like, wow. I caught that and I thought, you judgy prick, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Why are you doing that? And it sat with me the whole day. And I had lots of different conversations during the day. And then I watched them again a bit later on. And I found myself really intrigued by them after a little while. And then I realized something. How free are they? They don't care who's watching. They don't give a shit. They don't care if they look stupid with their eyes closed. They don't care if they're going to bump into anybody. They don't care what anyone thinks about them at all. They are free. So my judgment was all about my jealousy or envy, whichever, I can't quite pick which one it is, about their freedom. I wish I could do that. I wish I could dance freely and not give a shit what anyone thinks, but I can't dance, and I would care what people think.
Yeah.
So and I think there's an element of it where, like, one of the questions I love, and it's an ever evolving answer, is where in your life are you not free? Whoa, because you can do stuff about that, essentially, like in theory, yeah, I could go and dance in that field for all those hippies. I won't know.
Yeah.
I won't know because of lots of reasons. So
Yeah.
for me, my judgments tell me where I've still got work to do, where I'm not perfect. And the fact is, I'm not looking to be perfect. I know perfection is impossible. What I'm trying to do is achieve a level of contentment, I think, which is always fluctuating, right?
Yeah.
Look out for the guy that's always happy. It's a problem. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't be happy all the time. It's a fleeting emotion, right?
That's such a key point to help men navigate some self-awareness. Is we all have these voices in our heads, and some of these voices are judgments of other people, and those judgments say more about us than the other person. And just to catch those judgments, we all have them. Oh, that's interesting. I'm judging this person on what he said, what he looks like. Oh, what does that say about me? Maybe it says something about my values. Maybe it says something about my insecurities. Maybe it says something about my childhood, my relationships with previous people, whatever. But there's so much to learn through awareness of those judgments. And that then helps free you, doesn't it? It helps free you of those judgments, because judgments can keep you stuck. Be like, oh, if I think that, they must be this. Well, that's just an assumption. If I do that, oh shit, I'm judging myself now.
Yeah.
And it's judgment. And that just keeps you trapped and keeps you stuck, because you're so scared to move out of this kind of safe status quo place. If I just stay here, it will be all right. Because I think the world is based around how I think about myself, but no, it's how I think others think about me. That's really what I'm scared of.
Yeah, man.
It's what I think others think of me. I'm like, wow, actually, if I can be more clear on my values and who I want to be, yes, others will make their judgments, not based upon me, based upon their stuff. So why should I give a shit about their stuff? Obviously, of course, if it's someone close to me and it's a relationship I'm building, that's different. But the world is going to judge us when we step into a room based upon their perceptions, their beliefs from their experiences and their traumas and their backgrounds. I can't control that. I have no influence over that whatsoever. But I do get a choice into how I decide to show up.
Yeah. And what you've hit upon, I think, I'm not sure we've agreed upon themes for each episode. But episode 1 for me was definitely about the realization, or at least the awareness, that it's time to make a decision. And this one's about choices. It's about giving yourself choices by becoming aware of what you need to become aware of, right? Because what was the question again? Look at my memory; it's terrible, isn't it? See that?
It's helping men become the man they want to be.
Yeah.
That's essentially it, isn't it? And you've got to have some clarity on who you want to be. But most importantly, you've probably got to understand about who you currently are, and what's the blocker. And right now we're talking about judgments, and how judgments can be a big blocker into stepping into a new world, stepping into a better version of ourselves. And the key word is step.
Yeah.
Not jump. It is just that little bit of a step into I can try and jump. Not with my gammy hips, mate. I'm not jumping anymore. No, not with my arthritic hips.
It's got bad hips.
Yeah, bad hips. He's not perfect. This man's not perfect.
On the list.
Here we go. Johnny, you can write it down. What ammunition?
Give me a minute. I'll put it
right, it's got gammy hips. He's bald.
Yeah.
What else?
Perfect.
Right, you'll find more information
Still
about
jealousy.
my imperfections, mate. And I'm okay, and I'm humble with my imperfections. I'm secure with my imperfections. Kind of.
I was going to say that's not true.
Yeah, no, there's obviously a bit of bullshit
Too
there.
far.
But, no, on a serious note, actually, I have got, this is a bit of a tangent, but I think looking at those insecurities, things that you don't like about yourself, and acknowledging those is part of becoming less insecure. But often what we do, and this can stop a man being who he wants to be, is I'm not going to look at my insecurities, things that I don't like. Well, it's the things that you don't like is probably holding you back. Because if you don't like those things, that's okay to have things that you maybe want to work on, or some things that you can't work on. Acknowledge that, be aware of that, but don't let that hold you back.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh, I'm not this, I'm insecure about this. That's a story I've told myself, so I won't step into this new thing. I read a personal development book a few years ago, and the author was talking about a man that he knew who was getting into dating for the first time. And he had a story in his head that he was too short for women to fancy. So that story was that limiting belief that became a self-fulfilling prophecy. And every time a relationship or a date didn't work so well, he went back to the insecurity. It's because I'm too short. It's because of this and because of that. And that insecurity held him back. Rather than really looking at that and challenging that insecurity, that would have allowed him to have more successful dates. And that was just an example of how these thoughts and judgments, insecurities and beliefs can stop us from stepping into the world or being the man we want to be.
Yeah, I think what you stumbled upon there as well was the idea that we look at ourselves or we analyze ourselves through the lens of what we don't like about ourselves, rather than what do I wish was different. Okay, cool. What do I wish was different? Good question. Let me find some answers to that. Well, I wish I was. I wish my stomach wasn't so big. Okay, now we're spiraling towards an action here. What can we do to make my stomach not so big? Okay, cool. Right, let's figure. I didn't realize that was something that really bothered me before. I just don't like this about myself. Well, where's the action there? There's no action. There's nothing you can do. You're powerless in that moment. But as soon as you say to yourself, okay, I wish this was different. Okay, well, what would you, if it was different, what would you want it to be like? And now we're doing what this whole podcast is about. We're exploring the options. We're looking at the options. Like I said, this might be a podcast about creating choices. So you pointed out perfectly, in order to know where you want to go, a good analogy would be a map, right? Me and you were going to go to Scotland from here. So we'd look for Scotland on the map and we'd go, right, cool, there's Scotland. All right, where are we now? Well, why do we need to know that? Well, how are we going to plan a route if we don't know where we are now? Oh, we're here. We're in London. Oh, okay, good. So now we're going from London to Scotland.
Plan for a few nosebleeds, John, if we're not there. But easy, son. Let's get a bit too much from Scotland. Born and bred southerner. Easy. Stepping into Scotland. Pack plenty of tissues. Yeah, but it's not for my arse this time. It's for my nose.
But now we get to plan a route, don't we?
Yeah.
We get to plan a route. We get to go from London to Scotland. We start to look about what routes are available to us, what obstacles might get in our way. And then we start to go, okay, well, what are we going to do next? And that's when we make the decision.
Yeah. I think what we're talking about here is obstacles, isn't it? And how our insecurities or judgments can be obstacles to us progressing forward. And awareness of that is really important. I love that question. You know what is a really hard question to answer that I've posed to a few clients is the opposite of, rather than what don't you like about yourself, what do you like about yourself? Oof. That's uncomfortable. That feels like I'm really showing off.
What do you like about yourself, James?
What do you like about yourself, about who you are, about it could be even how you look, it could be character traits. To explore that is really uncomfortable for all of us, me included, to go, I'm quite good at telling you things that I don't like about myself, and maybe looking at things you want to change. And what I also love about what you said is to be specific rather than I just want to change. It's too general.
Can't solve a problem unless
Let's be specific, as you said. Come up with a specific route and plan.
What
and
do you
look
like
at those obstacles. You're coming back to that question. You're trying to challenge me. What do I like about myself?
I want to know. I'm curious.
What do I like about? I like the fact that I have trained myself to cope with difficulties and hardships. I like that. I'm proud of myself for that.
That's good. So I just know that every guy watches going to go, come on, man, mentioned your gun. They want to go, oh, he looks like he's getting a gun.
No, of course, but that's part and parcel of it. Like if you're going to go down that path, I was born, I think I was 3.3 pounds when I was born. I was like premature by 6 weeks, almost died, very small, probably quite weak, quite frail. And, anything physically and academically was incredibly difficult for me growing up. And it was really hard just to try and felt like I had any worth in the world. So what exercise taught me was, this isn't that complicated. You can be consistent, you can keep working hard, you can show up, and actually you don't have to be the smartest person, you don't have to be the most genetically gifted, you don't have to be some sort of athlete, but you can build a fitter, healthier, better looking physique and body. And that became be at one stage probably on a healthy relationship when I was younger, but it is something that I have worked really hard at, because now I see it less about the result of achieving physique or building muscle, and more about the process of what I'm learning about myself, the dedication, the consistency, the hard work, the pain, the suffering, the worthwhile meaning. And it's got a bigger meaning to it now that isn't just around how I look. It's also about how I show up as a father. Who do I want to be in 10, 20, 30, 40 years' time? Fit, healthy, strong, able to walk up mountains, able to play with my daughter, maybe even grandkids one day. It's got so much meaning and purpose around it. And I know I've gone off track a little bit to what I like about myself, but I like the fact that I've learned maybe to be a bit more analytical, and to maybe not let some of those hardships from childhood and adversities sort of hold me back to how I am now. And yes, so I'm proud of what I've created, whether that's with my brain or my body, but that has come with a lot of sacrifice and hard work. Definitely not the most genetically gifted, definitely not the most intelligent man in the room, but I'm willing to go, I'm not very good at that. Okay, well, do I care about that? If you got me to put up some IKEA furniture, I'm not very good at it, and I don't want to get good at it.
Never sit in the chair in your house.
Yeah, never sit in a chair in my house, Johnny. So, but I'd much rather, what I've learned this the hard way, is I'd much rather pay the bloke from IKEA £100 and put it all up for me, and I'd much rather spend my time in other areas that are more important and valuable to me. So I'm going to go, you know what? I'm not the most DIY minded man, and I'm okay with that. I haven't got to be like this man who's great at DIY. I don't like it. I'm not that interested. Can I do the basics to get by? Maybe on a good day, yes, but it's just not important. So it's understand, again, I've gone off track a little bit, but what is important to me, what is worthwhile investing in, and growing and developing in those areas, because we can't be everything to everyone. We can't be great at everything. So our strengths and our abilities now highlight what we have chosen to invest time and energy in. And again, you've got to be specific. What do I want to do? Do I want to grow a better business? Do I want to build a better physique? Okay, well, take ownership of that. Yes, I do want to do that. Great. Okay, well, you have to have some pain, some difficulty to get that. And there might be some excuses, and there'll be some things where you're going to have to reject and have strong boundaries in your life. But you can achieve that thing if you're, and I know that because I have struggled at everything. Nothing has come easy to me. And this isn't a fucking woe me podcast. It's a realistic podcast.
Well, should we get some tissues?
It's an honest, it's an honest podcast. But it's an honest podcast, isn't it? Yeah. And I'm trying to be honest here about the fact that I have struggled in loads of areas. And if I have got any result in an area, it's because of a lot of time, energy, and dedication. That doesn't make me special, because I'm definitely not. But what we're trying to do this podcast is help every man find the areas that he should invest in and grow in that.
So
I know I haven't fully answered your question. So
no, but you have, and you did it really indirectly. And it's like we used the gym analogy, right? So you're obviously jacked, right?
Obviously,
right? And there'll be guys out there that are looking for the perfect workout, perfect diet plan. Yep. They might even be looking into steroids or creatine or whatever else, right? To try and get that perfect body, right? But the bits that really stood out to me in what you just said was dedication, commitment, consistency. You know, these are traits, these are personality traits that you can practice like any muscle and get better at. And without them, you don't look like this. You know, and to become the man that you want to be, yes, you'll have to take some physical action. But you also got to understand, okay, well, what kind of person on an identity level do I need to become in order to, you have to become committed. You have to become consistent. You have to dedicate yourself to this thing. You have to give it some level of priority in your life, you know, and have all those things. These are traits. These are traits. These are consistencies. Like one of the things I used to do when I was a PT some time ago, don't look jacked, is when people got injured or they were sick or something was going on and they wasn't able to work out, what I got them to protect was the time, the habit, keep that commitment to that time being yours. Because if you let that go for 1, 2, 3 weeks, all of a sudden you'll fill it with something else, and now it's really hard to get back. You know, so it's about those traits, working out what I need to be in order to get what I want, who I need to be, do I need to be consistent? Do I need to be brave? Do I need to be humble? What do I need to be? Who do I need to be? How do I need to be in order to achieve these things? So yes, you went and you worked out. And arguably at your point now, it probably doesn't matter what you do in the gym as long as you keep going. It's if you took time off that the problem would be there. So what I heard within what you said was all of these really cool traits that you have practiced. You said they don't come naturally to me. But again, going back to episode 1, you at some point, and it'd be interesting to know when you made the decision, right, I'm going to change my body. And right then, I don't know what you look like. Was you skinny?
Yeah.
So you were really skinny, and
Is that right?
What?
Skinny? Yeah, Johnny.
And you go back to, if you get to go back in time and sit with James of back then, and you say to him, if you keep going, you can look like this. He would have loved it.
Yeah.
He'd look at you and go, bloody hell, look at you.
I think that there's a really important point that I want to make here with kind of the value of pain, the value of insecurity, but when that stays with you for too much of a long time. So for me, being a smaller frame, not feeling like, when I was younger, wanting to feel probably more attractive to the opposite sex, wanting to feel like, from a business standpoint, that I represented my business and my brand with how I looked, some of my own insecurities as well. But at some point, if that insecurity is always driving you, that becomes really kind of toxic. So it's like over and over and over and over again, I'm just being dragged and dragged and dragged by this insecurity. It never feels enough. I never feel content. I can never look in the mirror and go, no, I'm looking all right. You can never give yourself that pat on the back. And that's where physique development or any development in life often starts from a feeling of lack. I'm lacking money. I'm lacking the body I want. I'm lacking a relationship, whatever. Lack. But then when we get the thing, the lack is still there because we think I'm going to solve my inner wounds through solving something external.
Yeah.
And what we are really passionate about is helping men do the inner work. But where does that insecurity really come from? I've still got a sense of lack. Even though I've achieved the money or I've achieved the physique or whatever achievement you've managed to gain, if you haven't looked at that inner stuff, that wound is still there. I still don't feel enough. I still feel that sense of lack. So you have to be able to look inwards and go, yes, this was about looking a bit better, but actually it was about my self-worth and my self-esteem, about who or how I feel about James Scheibe is the real valuable thing here. And yes, achieving some positive outcomes can help with that. But as men, we think that's the full picture. If I achieve that, I feel great. Once I'm there, it's all sorted. But no, because inner work has to be deep enough to really look inwards to go, all the accomplishments in the world aren't going to make me feel better about who I am. They might in the moment. I feel great in the moment. I've got some validation. Johnny said how good I look. I feel really nice. And then it goes away. I'm looking for the next validation. Give me some more social media likes. Give me some attention, world, because I feel shit about who I am. So it comes back to us and looking inside and going, why do I still feel this sense of lack?
Yeah, what I pulled out from there really strongly. I mean, that was beautifully said, man. That really was, because what I took from that was there was that line there where you said, I wanted to get the perfect body, or however you said it, and then once you got somewhere near it, you were like, but I haven't got enough money. So that self-worth just it sort of disguises itself as something else. Oh, he's getting a bit close. Right. Well, he's not got a lot of money at the minute, has he? God, blimey. And it just changes, so that just suggests that you're not dealing with the real problem, right?
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, I'm not saying you, I'm saying generally, because people, and that's why these traits are important. These traits that we're building, like there's a discussion around confidence and what confidence is, and lots of people think confidence is this like thing that you perform, that you're a confident person. I can't tell you, mate, how many confident people I've met and I coach with them and they're not that confident at all, right? So there is a performance. But so what's confidence to me? Well, and it's something that's going to be needed to take you from where you are to where you want to be, which we can be more specific about. I use Scotland as an example. Well, where in Scotland? Because as soon as you cross that border in Scotland, have you achieved your goal? Because unless you define that, you'll never be able to celebrate that moment you get there and go, yeah, I've done it. Well done. Bit more evidence that I can do stuff, So that confidence for me is the reputation that you build with yourself. How do you do that? Well, if you tell yourself that tomorrow you're going to get up at a certain time and you're going to do a certain thing, make sure you do. Because otherwise, what you learn in that day is not that you're confident or good or you're started something, it's that you're full of shit. That's not a very good thing to teach yourself. If you can't do that thing tomorrow, that's not because you're a failure, it's because, like we said in episode 1, we've made the step too big. We've made that step too big. So instead of getting up at 5 a.m. and going and doing a CrossFit class, perhaps what we do is we get up at 7 a.m. and we go for a walk. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We make the steps smaller. I mean, that's a dramatic change, but you see where I'm coming from. So we need to be kinder to ourselves. We talk in other episodes that we've recorded already around compassion. And we all agree with other guests that compassion is vital to see yourself honestly. Now, there's this moment where you want to be critical of yourself and say, oh God, I'm lazy, I'm this, I'm that. And that's not that, it's an observation, it's information. It's not helpful though. You're starting to really convince yourself you're lazy. How helpful is it for you to convince yourself that you're lazy? How helpful is it to convince yourself that you're greedy? How helpful is it to convince yourself that you're stupid? It's not helpful. And this is what we're doing here, is to become the man you want to be. We need to understand where we are and we need to focus on what's helpful. Stuff will come up, it will be triggering. It's worth taking note of that. Absolutely. But what we're not going to do here is we're not going to put too much energy and time past a certain point into stuff that is not helpful. It might be true. Cool. Right. So how long are we going to spend on this then? We're going to spend a couple more months, are we? Talking about how you can't do this? Or are we going to figure out how you can do it, or a version of it? Or maybe you don't need to do it at all. Because this is the other thing we do. We look at other people and we say, well, they look confident, they look happy. Maybe I should do what they're doing. And then you find yourself not being able to do it, or you get there and it's not fun. So you think you're doing it wrong. None of that's helpful.
Yeah.
So it's about, again, like you said, endless times now, it's about you getting to know yourself. There's a lot of blokes out there that don't know themselves very well. They don't know what they enjoy doing. They don't know what they like, what they don't like. They're just looking at other people and taking cues from them. And there's plenty of them out there. There's plenty of gurus out there that'll sell you the perfect life and tell you that if you get up at 5 a.m. in the morning, you do some breath work, you do some cold water submersion, you do some journaling, you do all that, everything could be right. I did that. I was knackered.
Got 4 in the morning. I was putting that
by about 2 o'clock, I was good for nothing.
Checked out.
It worked for me.
Yeah.
I don't like the cold, so I ain't doing that. So yeah, it's you've got to find what works for you, man. You've got to find what works for you. But what's really important from what I took out there is those traits, that identity level. Like, it's not like what type of man do you want to be? It's who are you? Who do you want to be? And it's okay to, like, you're everything right now, but where you place your focus will grow. You are consistent at some things. Like, people go, oh, I'm not very consistent. Oh, well, you're consistent at watching Netflix and eating something.
Yeah.
So you have got consistency in you. And I'm being a bit, playful with that. I don't mean to be offensive or anything, but my point is, consistency is there. It's just being practiced in the wrong areas. So how do we transfer it? So, okay, well, I can be consistent with this, but I can't be consistent with that. Well, let's have a conversation about it. Turns out they friggin' hate that. Well, yeah, you're not going to be consistent then, are you? You don't enjoy it. Why? Do you have to do that? Well, I have to do a little bit of it, but it's probably a good idea for me to get good. I probably should. Oh, should. There's that magic word that we love. Should. Should usually means that you're playing out someone else's agenda, not yours.
Yeah. Yeah. It as you're talking there, it makes me think about 5 Regrets of the Dying, a famous book by Bonnie Ware. And one of the regrets that came up, she worked in end-of-life care, and she, over the years, she kind of found that there was these kind of 5 kind of common threads and themes for the people who reached the end of their life who had regrets. Not everyone would have regrets, but the people who did. And one was, I wish I had the courage to be the person I wanted to be, rather than the person that everyone expected me to be. And that was really powerful. And I had to sit with that and go, yeah, the courage to be who I want to be rather than what others expect me to be. I think that's where a lot of men can struggle, because they feel like they're expected to be a certain way.
Expectation. What's that saying? The road to disappointment is paved with expectation. Is it that? And disappointment is one of the most difficult emotions to experience. Kind of feel quite helpless in it too, which is really hard. And disappointment is just the readjustment period between expectation and reality. That's what it is, right? So you got this expectation, and then you find out that this is what's real. It's like, what do you mean I'm not going to be jacked after one session?
Yeah.
I'm so disappointed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
I've been here for 2 weeks.
literally, when I diet or exercise, a week later, I'm looking in the mirror like, why is it not working?
Maybe there's a difference. I'm going to put a bit of muscle. Like, it's 2 weeks in. I'll definitely look different.
Yeah. So it's like it's hard work, man. But like, it's about for me, it's about understanding that element of it all. It's like, you know, working out who you are and what you want, and not having too much expectation. I mean, it's Carl Rogers, I think, he has this beautiful theory. I might butcher it. You know, you got conditions of worth, where you show up, and you know, what people tell you, or the rewards that you get from other people that make you feel worth something. But you've also got this organismic valuing system. Always careful with that word.
Be careful.
Is it organist? Yeah, organist. Yeah. I'll give up. Research it.
Just Google it quickly. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But it's the example I like to use, right, is that you get a chocolate bar. I was speaking about earlier. Get a chocolate bar, and you love the branding on the chocolate bar. You love the way that the wrapper sounds. It's got a really strange feel to it. It's not like the other ones, you know. So you're really already quite intrigued by it. You quite like it. And then you open it, nice and easy to open. It's not one of them where you're trying to tear it open and all that. You open this chocolate bar and you pop the chocolate bar out. You love the way it looks. You love the way it feels. You love the way it smells. And then you go for it and you taste it, and it's absolutely, you love it. It tastes lovely. The texture of it's great. The chocolate bar is amazing. And all of your senses, you as a person, are making a decision. I like this. This is for me. I really, really enjoy this. That's the organismic valuing system in action. You've also got the introduced valuing system, which is where, and an example I use of this is, your dad likes football. So you go to school and you get put on the football team and you score a goal. And you come home that day and you tell your dad, Dad, I played football today. And he goes, oh yeah? What happened? You say, I scored a goal. And he goes, you scored a goal? You scored a goal? That's amazing. Well done, son. Oh, I'm so proud of you. God, good for you. Guess what? He scored a goal. Starts telling everyone in the house he scored a goal, really celebrating it. Do you know what? Let's get some pizza tonight. Gets this lovely little reward. And he thinks, bloody hell, this is brilliant. So what he starts to believe is that he loves football and that he needs to become really good at football. And he plays football all the time because he wants that initial reward that he got from his father. But that was what he wanted in the first place. The valuing system doesn't come from I love football. It comes from I love my dad's response to me loving football.
Yeah.
And I think this is how, in some cases, some guys pick up the wrong thing and they get this pressure in life. They get this pressure to be certain people or to be a certain way, you know, to love certain things because like we were joking about it earlier. People grow up passionate football supporters, but when they were 4 years old, they didn't sit there and say, bloody hell, Arsenal's good, didn't they? Love Arsenal. No, their dad loved Arsenal. When you said they bought them this shirt, didn't have much choice there. And they grow up Arsenal fans, not because they love Arsenal. Arsenal's good. No, oh, wow. I'm actually, it's my mate. I got my mate Kitch. He's an Arsenal fan, right. and
no, he'd be happy this season when they win the league, I'm sure.
But you know, he's an Arsenal fan because his dad was an Arsenal fan. He probably loves Arsenal now. He does love Arsenal now. He'll be arguing with me about this. He'll be saying, I do love Arsenal. But it came from his dad.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the key thing that I'm picking up from that story is understanding and recognising the influence our environment and our caregivers have on our values and who we think we are and what we're chasing and we're trying to build. I'm hearing that from that.
Yeah, and also how much effort you're putting into things that you don't really care about. That you didn't choose. And again, if this episode is themed around choice, how much of the things that you think you love and the things that you're doing and the things that you invest in your time and effort into, did you choose? That's a tough question. And also, once you identify that, like once you realize, once you're that footballer that doesn't like football, but got into it because their dad liked football and gave them loads of praise and bought them pizza, like I said before, now you got to, what? Am I saying you don't need to play football anymore? because that's become your identity. Everyone around you now says to you how good of a footballer you are and how you're going to play for Arsenal one day and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Gets really tricky.
And it all makes perfect sense. I think there's another part of this where in society we're rewarded through the outcome we get rather than the traits it took to get the outcome.
Beautiful. Absolutely.
So as a parent, I'm very mindful of this, and I definitely don't get this right all the time. Definitely not.
Another imperfection.
Another imperfection. It's not a perfect parent. When my daughter comes to me and she's achieved something, I'm like, wow, baby, I'm really proud of you for how hard you've worked.
Yeah, man.
I'm really proud of you for
good effort,
having that discipline. Yeah, you've got to be, obviously not just saying just patronising good effort. It's more just what the character traits it took her to achieve that. I'm talking about from parenting perspective, but also try and do that with ourselves. Let's connect this to what you said earlier. We get a lot of disappointment because we don't achieve the outcomes we think we want to get. So I have an expectation that I'm going to do 10 podcasts and it's going to achieve this. Well, I only have so much control over that idea, that expectation. But what I do have control over is my traits. Do I show up? Do I go into each day and each podcast with intent and focus? Do I prep? Do I do all those things that can make the podcast the best it can? They're the traits that I have control over. That's what I can invest in. That's what I should validate myself on, not the outcome, because the outcome is out of my control. And what we do in life is we feel bad because we didn't get the outcome we thought we were going to get. We feel disappointed. How hard is feeling disappointed with yourself? I get it, because the world is conditioned from a young age. How do you do that exam? And you didn't do very well in that exam. Well, then you're a bit thick, so I put you over there. You've done well with that exam. Great. Well, you're more intelligent. You're being validated from day dot almost. And yes, that is part of the schooling system, and there's pros and cons of that. And it works for some children and definitely doesn't work for others. But as we get older, we have to be very aware on how we're validating ourselves and what we think about ourselves. We're only based that upon outcomes. It's not fair on ourselves, Johnny, because life is not fair. There's going to be a set of circumstances that we're all placed in that will be more advantageous and some not as advantageous. There'll be some disadvantages we've got and some advantages. And that isn't a perfect deck of cards. We don't get all the perfect circumstances for helping us to be successful, but we do get to control ourselves and our intent and our focus and our discipline and our dedication. And going back to what I talked about with exercise, that's what I love about it, is that I get to control how I tip up to the gym and the mindset I put in. And I have a certain amount of control over the results I get. But I'm sure someone else who'd been training half the time as me would have got better results because they're more genetically gifted. Maybe they had less stress in their life. Maybe they were younger, etc., etc. But that's them. That's their journey. I just get to control mine. But those messages we pick up from childhood is incredibly powerful, because then we validate ourselves on, I'm good when.
Yeah.
I'm successful then. So maybe we need to, as men, start to redefine success. I'm not saying don't search and drive towards accomplishment and having goals. I'm not saying that. But if your whole life is set up like that, you're just going to be in a constant treadmill of life, rather than looking inwards again and looking at, wow, okay, you didn't quite achieve what you wanted to. You didn't quite go up that mountain, Johnny. You showed resilience. You showed determination. You showed wisdom and self-awareness. You showed compassion. All those amazing traits. That is beautiful.
And I love that because of what you said earlier. Because when you said that determination, consistency, and some other stuff.
There's some other stuff.
Yeah. Like the transferable traits.
Yes.
You can transfer them. You can say to yourself, well, I can do this because I know that I can be consistent. I know that I can be determined, and again, it was something you really wanted. It meant something to you. And that's why you achieved it.
That's the key bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is meaningful enough to you to go through the worthwhile discomfort of achieving that thing?
Yeah. Which is why if I'm honest with myself, I probably didn't I had allergy sickness. It was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad. I want to frame it as that, and it was part of it. But I had allergy sickness. But yeah, I suppose this is the whole premise of this podcast. This is what's important. Again, we're not here to give answers, but we're exploring it. We're talking about real life examples, and the only examples we can give is you and me. But I worked with a client recently, and there was this wonderful moment when they sent me a voice note. I love a voice note because I quite often find that the client solves their own problems in the voice note very often. And I'm very, very much the person that says, well, re-listen to the voice note. The answer that you're looking for is in there. And they flippantly, and they didn't catch it until I pointed it out, but they said it. They said, I'm doing this thing now. I've started doing this thing every week. I won't say what it is because I don't want to give, client confidentiality. They go, but I love the person I am when I'm in that room. And it hit me like full goosebumps. I thought, oh, that's the first time I've heard them say that. That's amazing. And I listened to the whole message. And then I messaged them back going, and I told them, I said, this is what you just said. And what that tells me is that they love the person they are in that room. And then in the next session, we got to, okay, so what type of person is that? What sort of situation is that? Well, it's not just the thing they're doing. Yes, they enjoy the thing they're doing, but the person they're allowed to be. I live in Cornwall. I was born in Hertfordshire. I had to move them 300 odd miles away to feel like I could allow myself to be the person I wanted to be. I'm not sure I'm this person I am today, a person who I like, if I live in Hertfordshire, because I was always going to be who I was there. All of my mistakes I made at school, all of the mistakes I made during work, all the mistakes I made just being a teenager, whatever, they're all there. All the locations are there too, because environment's important. And one of the things I work through with people all the time is their environment, is those little triggering moments where you're cued to behave the way you used to behave. So it's catching all of that. It's a long old journey, right? But one of the things that I love the most about what you've said is the traits. It's identifying the traits, because you can do them every day. You could do them every day, being consistent every day, even if it's not in the gym. Maybe it's consistency in something else. I consistently wake up at the same time most days. I consistently have a coffee. I know they're not important, but they are. Sometimes when you get deep in the well, it's that evidence you need, right? So yeah.
Yeah, those, I think there's a couple of key things I want to draw out from that. I think for the man watching, you're going to think, right, okay, well, those traits all sound good. Do I relate to them? And maybe a good question to ask yourself is this. Imagine you're going to have a couple of mates talking about you. Just round the corner. You can then talk about, hey, Johnny's this, Johnny's that. What do you like those mates to be saying about you? What's some of the words you'd like them to be using and how they describe the man that you are? And that tells you what you care about. It tells you who you want to be. How would you like them to be discussing you, the traits, your character strengths and traits? And another part that I'm hearing there is how to understand authenticity, which is essentially the focus of today's podcast, is how do I feel about my current actions and behaviors? Where do I feel like I've got the most energy? Things that I enjoy. Maybe I just feel calm and content. I get this feeling that I'm on the right path. It doesn't mean that it's always comfortable, but it just feels right. And I know it sounds a bit fluffy. It just feels right. But I think as you get older, if you can just check in and go, how did I feel in that interaction with a group of friends? I feel like I was putting a bit of a mask on, really. I think I walk away from that feeling a bit drained, a bit exhausted. Or when you're doing the right thing around the right people, you will probably feel more energized, or maybe just seen, just feeling like you're validated for who you are rather than trying to be someone you're not. And I think if you're trying to understand your authentic self, you need to explore that and look at those areas of life where you think, doing this, I just feel great. You don't need to justify that to anyone. You don't need to explain that. You just feel great knitting at home, Johnny. You feel good sitting at home in your pants knitting. And that's fine. If that's your thing,
wow, great.
And then through knitting, you learn, patience.
It's quite a visual.
You learn resilience. You learn commitment and consistency. You've got the image of yourself now, haven't you? But
where did that come from?
Just popped into my mind, mate. But that saying, I just wanted to pick something really random because it's saying that
you did it.
If you like knitting and you felt comfortable sitting at home in your pants knitting, wow, and that was your thing that felt meaningful when you were knitting things for your kids for winter time and nice hats.
I don't feel like this is the first time you thought about this.
But you're showing those character traits. Consistency, dedication, having to go through some mistakes. Oh, I haven't quite knitted that right. I've got to do it again. Yeah, visit all those things with something that you care about. And then for me, it would be something different. But if you said to me, James, you know what? I really enjoy that, man. I sit there in the evening, a little cup of herbal tea, and I really enjoy that. You haven't got to explain that or justify that. So that's fine.
Now I'm knitting my pants with herbal tea.
Yeah.
Mate, what are you doing to me here?
Well, that's if you don't feel good about that, that's totally fine. But
the one and only James Shibe is going after my masculinity.
Yeah, I'm trying to push you, Johnny. I try to appreciate your comfort zone here. But do you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Like looking at that and to be able to share that and go, yeah, I like this. You might be, I'm a bit geeky and I like to read. And, I growing up at school, I didn't feel happy being a bit of a geek, but, I'm a bit of a geek. And this is what I'm really interested in. I was chatting to a client recently and he was talking about his son. He said, I went skiing with my son and my son is mid-20s now and he's really into Pokemon. Now, I know nothing about Pokemon, so I didn't have anything to kind of relate to with it, but this was beautiful. He said, we met these strangers for the first time and we, one person in the group wanted to do a bit of a sharing. So stand up, tell us about yourself. And my client, he's in his late 50s now, is a bit like, not into this, but he said, oh, look, no, I've retired, I've done this and that. His son got up and said, yep, no, I'm mid-20s, here's what I do for work. But you know what I love? I love Pokemon. He owned it. He said, this is, and you know what? People around him found it really interesting. Wow, tell us more about that. And my client said, I felt uncomfortable because I thought everyone was going to judge my son and be like, Pokemon, what the hell? He was passing on his judgments. And when he caught that and said nothing, and he allowed his son to be himself and express who he was. And to be good at Pokemon, I believe you have to have all those traits: consistency, discipline, dedication, go out your comfort zone. There's traveling involved, all sorts. He takes it very, very seriously. And that was a beautiful story of being authentic. And that takes some courage to step out and go, yeah, this is me. This is who I want to be. This is worth being uncomfortable for. This is worth fighting for. This is worth sacrificing for. This is worth investing time and energy because I want to be this person. And that's okay. You do not have to justify that to anyone.
I think that's the perfect place to drop in that quote that you told me earlier. It was amazing, that quote. Do you remember that one?
No, mate. You've caught me out there. Do you mean the end of life one? The regret one I've shared earlier?
No, it's not that one.
I don't know what quite he's on about.
You said it's better to...
Oh, sorry, mate. Yeah. Oh, I'm with you. God, I got you now. Yeah, there's a good quote that I heard the other day. And when you hear something, sometimes it just makes you pause. And this, for me, sums up the power of being yourself and being authentic. And what I heard was, it's better to be rejected for who you are rather than liked and accepted for who you're not. And that was beautiful because we've all tried to put a bit of a mask on and be accepted for that version of ourselves. How does that feel? That feels more lonely and more isolating. And to have, again, I come back to this word all the time, to have the courage to go, this is who I am. People will reject that. Some people will go, I don't like Pokemon, I'm not into knitting. God, it's a bit weird sitting there knitting in your pants. Doesn't matter. That's you. And yeah, and I'm making a light-hearted.
Don't forget my herbal tea now.
Forgot about herbal tea. Oh, that's all right then. He's got herbal tea. But we don't do that in society, and I've been guilty of that loads of times. But now, as I get older, and I'm trying to do that with this podcast as well, is step into my authenticity. Who is James Shibe? To put the real version of me out there. And that's been difficult online. And I'm sure anyone who's gone online can relate to that. But when I step into that, people will watch that and go, oh, I don't like James, I don't connect with that. But the people who do, that's the people who I'm speaking to. And the same with you. So we're on our own journeys with being authentic. And then the guys listening are also on their journey. But it is the most fulfilling thing. It builds your self-esteem because you know what's happening? It's every time you're being accepted for who you're not, that's denting your self-esteem.
Yeah, you're casting a vote for the person you don't want to be. I think what's really helped you is your OnlyFans.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Yeah, it's got me a long way, that is. That's the reason I can afford this podcast studio.
Yeah,
James Shibe, that's why there's only one.
Yeah. The problem is, it's offset by how much baby oil you need. It's out of control. He hasn't really got any fans. There's loads of people searching right now.
You're assuming I mean.
Whoa, hang on. Let's go there.
No,
I'm not sure anyone wants to watch
any
me
fans yet.
knitting in my pants with my herbal tea.
Mate, it's a niche. There's something for everyone. If you put that on OnlyFans, I'm sure someone will go, right, do some Googling for that.
And then I come up and I've nailed it. I've nailed the niche.
Brown man. He uses just for men.
Got layers.
Knitting in his pants, drinking herbal tea.
It's very specific.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very specific.
But you should be able to own that, Johnny, if that's what you want.
Well, I tell you what, I did find out about myself. It's not quite that.
No.
But a couple of weeks ago, I was away doing a public speaking thing, and I came back, and my wife and my son had got a puzzle for Christmas, and they'd started it on the dining room table. And I walked in, I went, "Oh, look, you started this puzzle. That's cool." But in my opinion, it's just my opinion, they weren't taking the right strategy. See, I'm a person now that thinks when you do a puzzle, right, you got to do the frame first, right? There's chaos going on. So I sat down, I said, look, I'll sort this out for you and start making this frame. Day after day, any little moment I got, I found myself sat at the dining room table doing this puzzle. After a little while, it was quickly becoming some of my favorite moments of the day. Like this real mindful, peaceful moment. And then I started getting up a bit earlier so I can do it. I just started to get carried away with it. And I remember sitting in the living room and I said to my wife, like it was a proper serious conversation, I went, babe, she went, yeah, you all right? I went, yeah. Do you know, I think I really like puzzles. She's like, thank God. And I was like, I really like it. I've now got myself a puzzle mat.
And there's a lot of other things you could have said, Johnny.
Yeah, well, I think that was her fault. Like, thank God he only likes puzzles.
That's a relief. I got some real dark stuff.
What was funny to me was not only did it really surprise me, but it was, when did I make this rule with myself that I've done puzzles before, but when did I decide that, I can't be a guy that likes puzzles?
Yeah.
And now I've bought myself a puzzle mat so I can roll it up and all that. And I'm starting to look out for puzzles. I'm only on the thousands at the moment. What was well funny though is once you start to talk about puzzles outside of, I was talking with a friend and they're like,
great conversation.
I love
puzzles talk about too. Puzzles.
I love puzzles too, they said. And I said, oh yeah. And they said, yeah. And then they say to me, how many pieces do you do? And I said, I'm on 1,000 off. I'm on 3,000. I was like, wow. Oh, they got a little puzzle table. And I found myself going, all right, okay.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that evening on Amazon, 1,500.
Fuck you then.
I'll build up to it. I'm coming for the throne.
Yeah. It's great, isn't it? It's lovely to explore that and to find out
and now to embed it to whoever's watching, you know.
Johnny, what has jumped out at you today, mate? In our conversation, we've been talking a lot about helping men navigate and understand authenticity, about being the man they want to be. Talked about some of the blockers and some of the judgments and restrictions, environments, previous influences. You know, what kind of jumps out for you as some of the kind of real powerful stuff that's kind of hit home from today's conversation?
A lot of things. But I think this quote is a nice quote. I shared it with you this morning, and it clearly hit you the same way it hit me. Will you act like the person you are becoming, or react like the person you survived as? And I think last episode was about making decisions, deciding to change, deciding to take this thing on, to be different. You know, somewhere on the spectrum of wanting to tap out to really thriving. You're somewhere in there. You want to make a decision to move in a certain direction. Like I said, in that mountain, up or down, you know, down, up. So somewhere within that, you got to make a decision. But now it's about choice. It's about making choices. It's about making decisions and choice with the choices that we have at hand, and working out who we are, working out who we want to be. Do we want to be the person knitting in our pants with a herbal tea? Or do we want to be a puzzler? So the course correct there for you. Feel free to use the puzzle anytime. I think we ditched the knitting in the pants.
Let's never mention the knitting in pants ever again. Yeah. Because it never happens.
I'm thinking a solid edit on that.
You know? Take that bit out.
Yeah, but I think it's what's important there is that your history, your life with experiences has caused some difficult emotions. There's many times in our life that events happen. and we look back over our lives and we look at those events, and those events make us feel a certain way. And sometimes they can completely change the mood you have for the rest of the day. And people keep wondering how they're going to change those events. And that keeps them busy. It stops them from looking forward because they're looking back. If I found more success in identifying, okay, within those events, there were some emotions that I'm experiencing, because the event has happened. That exact event can't happen again. A variation of it can, but that event has happened. That's the day one, right? But it's not that you're trying to change, it's the emotions that you experience. Because now, if that event came with a significant amount of rejection, every time you experience rejection, you're going to have some variation of that response, which is going to stop you from moving forward. So as we start to identify, okay, that event happened. Okay, right. How did you feel? And this is what we don't do as guys. We're not interested in the emotions of it.
Yeah.
Want to go back and punch that guy in the face.
Yeah.
I want to go back and have stuck up for myself in that moment, or done this or done that. Okay, that's very heroic, and I understand it. And I really am genuinely empathetic towards that. But how did you feel? I felt rejected. I felt scared. I felt worthless. And I've created this unbelievable lifetime amount of meaning behind it. Cool. Let's challenge that. Because it's that, challenging that, that's going to create the traits that it takes. You said at the beginning, you shared it, and it was wonderful that, your start to life doesn't suggest in any way that you're this guy sat in front of me. But at some point, you had a look at that and you said, nah, not me. Not going to be that person anymore. I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to be dedicated. I'm going to be committed, and I'm going to change my life. And then because of those traits that you built while building this body, you've now got these traits that are evidence to you to say, I can do other things too. Because I need to be consistent with this. Right, cool. And if I'm consistent with this, what do I get? I get that. I get this. Okay, cool. Let's keep moving forward. And you make mistakes. You're not perfect. You know that. But you have worked on them traits, and you know that you can do them traits. And if you're not doing them traits, there's another reason. It's not that you can't do it. It's that maybe you don't care about it. And that's all right too. So that's what I've taken from today.
Yeah. Yeah. I think as I'm listening to you, that last bit on understanding what you care about is really, really important. And
what you don't care about.
And what you don't care about. And being willing to step into those uncomfortable emotions. And this will be a recurring theme on this podcast, is if we don't step into those due to the fact that it's uncomfortable, we don't really ever build our authentic way of being, because our way of being has been about, can Johnny accept me? I just want attachment. I just want to have connection. I just want to be accepted from the world. How I feel doesn't matter. But then I just mold myself to be like other people constantly. And then I'm really hyper vigilant on what others are thinking. Everyone's watching me. Everyone's watching James Scheibe. Yeah. So I can't be authentically.
Confirmation bias for evidence.
Me. Yeah. As you were talking, it made me think about last weekend. I went to something called The Cube. It used to be a game show. Where it's not some sort of like dodgy sort of like sex thing, Johnny. The Cube, where are you going, James? No, it's all legit. It's all legit. And it used to be a game show, and essentially you are in this kind of see-through cube, and you have a game you've got to do under pressure. And as I stepped in there, I could see loads of people looking at the game. So I was like, I've got to step into that game with all these people watching me. What are they going to be thinking when I mess it up and fluff it up and don't have the ability to do it?
I saw you this online.
Yeah, I just share it. Yeah. And it actually ended up being a great experience, but from being quite philosophical about it now, I suppose, and connecting it in today's conversation, stepping into our emotion, stepping into our authentic self is stepping into the cube.
Whoa.
And I'm stepping in. I'm playing my game show. Nobody else's. I'm in my zone. And yes, other people are going to watch from the outside. But you know what I noticed is, because I was so connected with what I was doing, I was so in the zone, I was so doing my thing, totally forgot about all the eyes watching in.
Yeah.
Didn't even pop into my mind once, because I was so in it with myself. And that's such a key thing, isn't it? When you are being more authentic and you're in your flow, which is, I know, a throwaway comment, but you know what I mean? Like being really feeling like this is a place where I want to be, and you're really focused on something, you learn just to go, I've not even got the focus for what other people are thinking about now, because I'm so in it. And for me, that just kind of represented a lot of our conversation today is helping men step into the cube.
Yeah. Mate, It's a beautiful share. That I like that. I like that. It's got so many analogies attached to it as well, isn't it? So I'm just going to reiterate: will you act like the person you are becoming, or react like the person you survived as? I think that's an important quote, and I think it really fully encapsulates, amongst other quotes that we shared, what we're talking about today. I think that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, beautiful conversation today.
Bring us home.
Enjoyable.
Look straight down the camera, mate.
Yeah, straight in the
your
camera.
sexy eyes. Yeah, let's go.
I would say thank you for listening. Thank you for watching this podcast. If it's been of value, let us know. Send us some messages. We're here to help you and support you. So we're here to get feedback, to help us grow and develop and offer more value to you. So thank you for listening. And Men Bathing Honestly, we'll be back very soon.
I actually want to add something. Share. We need your help. We need you to share this podcast. We need you to share it with other men. That's really, really important. Say bye-bye again, James.
Bye-bye.
You do you, mate. You get up at 4 o'clock.
Johnny's called it shit.
I'll see you in 4 hours. Right, we ready?